All right. Sorry about being a little late this morning, everyone. What kind of mental afflictions did you have while you were waiting? None. Thank you, Jackie. I'm glad you don't care. I'm still trying to wake up too. Sorry. All right. So we are sadly, or maybe accomplished to being very accomplished, as we've now can say that we finished an entire course. Right. So in some ways I think it's sad because it's like, oh, we won't get to see each other next week. Right. But I think there's also something to really be rejoiceful about, I guess, because these are, how do I say this? These courses take a lot of effort. They really do. And it's not just the effort of coming to the class, and I really do hope you're doing the homeworks and the quizzes and all of those things as well. I don't push them. I'm not a pusher when it comes to that. And some other teachers are. So if you're attracted to being forced to do your homework in the moment, and you want someone to like put you into like detention if you don't do the homework. Detention translators is what they give students in high school when you've misbehaved. You have to stay after school and do more. Um, some of the teachers actually require that you do the homework before you come to the next class. And I think for some students, I think that kind of works. I personally was never that disciplined, frankly. I didn't finish the homeworks until way, way afterwards. But I think each person learns differently. And I'm going to give you a selling point, is that getting the courses completely done at some point is a amazing completion karma. But there's also a time and place for study. There's a time and place for like solo hardcore study. Then there's also the time for being in class. There's a time for service. And then there's a time for your life in general. But it's really what's important to you. Like, is learning this important to you? And the point of the homework is traditionally in the system is that you review everything 3 times after a class. Homework, quiz, final exam. That's the Western way of reviewing things 3 times. Right? We don't have debate grounds, right? We don't go out after class, and sit with each other and debate the material for hours at a time, right? Which is one way of reviewing it, which is a very powerful way of reviewing the material. But also don't put pressure on yourself and put some pressure on yourself. The whole point is don't have anxiety about it, because that's not going to be helpful. I have to be anxious. I have to be anxious so I can, get my homework done so I can get enlightened. What? Hold on a second. What? Okay. So, you have to find that balance for yourself. But why would you want to do all of this? Like, why would you want to do all the homework? Like, what's the point? And I think a lot of the point for us is if you complete all of this, then you get to possibly get invited into the advanced courses. It's kind of this metric that we use that says, okay, you are ready. You've made the commitment and you're ready to move into the more advanced courses, which are advanced. So the point of spending this time and spending it in different ways with homeworks, quizzes, class time, discussion groups, all of those things, is to get you ready to be able to understand what is going on. I had a conversation with a good friend of mine. He calls, he's like, Tim, I have a Dharma question. It's usually like at 10 at night. And I'm like, okay, I'm awake. What do you need? Right. And I haven't talked to him for maybe about a year or so. He and I did our yoga teacher training together. We taught together for a while in the early years. And he called me on Thursday. Today's Wednesday. He called me on Monday night. And he was going through all of these questions. Like, he was like, I have one question. And it turned into like 15. And I was like, he's like, I got your attention finally. I'm like, yeah, you got my attention because I'm sleeping on the couch. I'm like, and he wanted to face, it was a video call. So I'm like, I'm awake, right? So, but I asked him, I was like, because the answer he was looking for was not in sutra. And I was like, oh, have you done these other courses? And he said, well, yeah, I did. He's done the first 4 and they're going to be moving on. And I said, okay. I said, good. Well, then I can give you, and he goes, well, what kind of answer can you give me? And I can give you an answer, right? So I dove in a lot deeper with him. And if you've been sitting in these classes, the answers are all there if you have the ears to hear them. Okay, the answers are there. They're just not as obvious, right? But they're there. And if you have a feeling for that, to be able to be ready for the advanced courses, you do have to spend the time doing things like homeworks and quizzes and the final exams. And maybe you don't have a calling for that now. But I guarantee you, we're in course 12, so 2 more years, right? Wait, so 13, 14, yes. So in 2 more years, there's going to be a flurry of people who are going to be like, oh my God, Tim, I really want to do this. And I'll be like, I told you on March 13th, 2024. Okay. I told you on March 13th, 2024, if you want to move into those higher teachings, this is kind of what you have to do, and there's lots of other things you have to do, and, Shanti Deva did not get up onto the throne when he was being made fun of, like we told you in the very first class, to give his special teaching on the Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life and not study Diamond Way. Okay. Don't think for a second that Shanti Deva just taught that and didn't have any other practice. All right. So if you have that calling, start worrying about it now. Not stress. It should be joyful. It should be fun. Okay. It should be. Diamond Way is fun. Becoming learning these practices. And last night I had a beautiful, beautiful dinner with someone who I see in that special way. Do they see me that way? No. I don't know what they see, but I treated them that way, and I treated the whole dinner that way, and I treated the whole practice that way. Right. You know, and that's the fun thing. We went out to a beautiful restaurant, new place in Sedona. And I was like, they said, well, Tim, I really don't have all the money for that. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm inviting you. Right. And the whole meal was a diamond way practice. So much so that, when my friend went to the bathroom and the waitress came over, and I was like, that's Vajrayogini. I'm like, that's who this is. And she was like, oh, we're going to be offering you the dessert for free. That they went through this whole long thing. And I'm like, of course you are. I'm like, of course this is what's happening. Right. And I slipped a credit card in, and it was beautiful. And to get to that place, it should be joyful. So your coursework should be joyful. How do you get joy in doing homework? This was my point this morning. So what really happened this morning is my shower broke and the water was cold. And I hate cold water so much that I was like, I have to wait till I get this fixed. Okay. And then once I finally got the hot water, I started thinking about class, not remembering that I was 10 minutes trying to get the hot water to work. You see? So that's why I was late. I'm sorry. But in my 10 minutes of bliss, although I probably should learn that cold water could be bliss too, I was like, I'm going to teach how the homework can be blissful. I changed my course structure. I changed the day. All right. How can you make learning fun? Right. Pei Ling's talking about having difficulty understanding. Okay. How do you make difficulty understanding fun? Like, what makes this fun? Okay, 75 of you are here. Okay. Obviously, you don't hate it that much unless you enjoy punishing yourself. Some people are into that. That's fine. Right? Like, how do you take the pressure off, but also do the work? Right? And this is one of the whole big things that Shantideva's focused on, is how to have joyful effort in the difficulty of practice. Like, how can we enjoy spiritual hardship? How about that? Because it's not easy. It's not always easy. It's not it's not a clear, it's not unicorns, bubbles, and balloons all the time. Although we wish it were. But how do you take joy? And I think, Shantideva's book is a type of lojong. It's a type of deep, deep lojong. And we were talking about this in Mixed Nuts on Monday. So here's my answer. Here's my little answer for you, and then we can debate it later if you want. Let's focus on two things. Okay, it's two things. What are the two types of bodhicitta? I mean, there's many types of bodhicitta depending on what angle you're looking at, but what are the two types of bodhicitta? I know many of you were in that class on Monday night. Where were you? There we go. Congratulations, Romanians. The only ones listening were the Romanians. Okay. Deceptive and ultimate bodhicitta. Like it's, I personally don't like the word deceptive. I don't like the word fake. But it's kind of the first type, deceptive, we can call it that, kunso, is the wish to achieve all, the wish to achieve enlightenment for all living beings. Okay, that's what it means, right? So you look out at all living beings, all 75 of you, right? You look at your cats, you look at your friends, you look at the world, you're like, I will get enlightened for you. I will take care of you, right? I will plant seeds. I will plant seeds. How about that? Okay. That's great, Luis. So even the Romanian recorder, Yashang, who is not Romanian, knew it. So, right, you're like, we talked about this in last class. I want to review it. Like, I'm going to serve all beings. I'm going to do these things. I'm going to work really hard. I'm going to plant seeds. And I'm going to plant seeds. I'm going to plant these seeds. And that's the way that with only that, you will have bodhisattva burnout. You will have fake bodhisattva burnout. Alona, Anastasia, we need a t-shirt somewhere on the, I don't know how we're going to do this, but we need a t-shirt about bodhisattva burnout. Okay. So if you just try that, and then you have a lot of joy, you have a lot of compassion, you have a lot of passion, and a lot of, you have the energy to do it, eventually that energy will wear out on its own. And this happens to a lot of people. They get afflicted. They're like, I have to serve people. I have to serve. I got to plant good seeds. And then planting good seeds becomes a chore. It becomes work. It becomes not fun. And then eventually you get grumpy and then you just stop. You're like, well, this bodhisattva thing sucks. Okay. And I've seen it happen to a lot of people. I've seen it happen. But if you have the second type of bodhicitta, which is synonymous, like Dundam Dempa, well, ultimate bodhicitta, then you understand something deeper. You understand that who you're seeing is coming from you. Right? You have this understanding of emptiness where you're like, okay, my cats, the 75, 77 people here now, all of these people, the whole world is coming from me. There's something about everyone that's coming from me. The problems that I have. Pei-Ling, relax. Relax, Pei-Ling. Jazz, relax. Okay. The things that they are coming from you. They come from you. The problems that you see are arising from your karma. They're arising from your past seeds. And somehow that understanding can fuel your joyful effort, because then you can face the problems in a very different way. You can face them in a way where it's like, look, this is coming from me and I have to take care of it. And I understand why it's there. And if you understand why it's there, then you're just like, oh, okay, well then let me do something about it, the best that I can, to best of my capacity. And if I need to go to bed at 9 o'clock, then I'm going to go to bed at 9 o'clock. I'm not going to stay up for another hour and a half listening to a friend asking me questions. In this case, I made the conscious choice of, this person needs, the better seed right now is to talk to this person than to go to bed. Why? Because I could get up late. I could just sleep later. Like it wasn't a problem. Right. But if someone's calling you all the time and whining about their problems and you're like, look, I got to go to bed, go to bed. Tell them to go to bed. Be like, take a sleeping pill, take a hot shower, drink some warm oat milk, whatever puts you to sleep, relaxes you, and rest. The worst time to talk about problems is before you go to bed. So tell them to go to bed. Hashtag go to bed. That's what I do. Like when I get on an airplane and I arrive in Japan or I arrive back home, the first thing I have a note for myself that says hashtag go to bed, Tim. Don't worry about the problems because you're just tired. Right? Go to bed. Of course, I talked to this guy for an hour or so about Dharma questions, which was great. Right? So it's really about those two things that plants the seeds to be able to continue onwards in a way that you don't get tired, you don't get exhausted, you don't burn out. Like if you understand that even your burnout is coming from karma. Oh, I'm burning out right now. I'm grumpy. Oh, why do you have to see that? Then you're like, oh, well, that's coming from a past seed. I got to do something different. So I'm going to go to bed. I'm not going to share my grump with other people. It's not that hard. The thing is, all of these things really aren't that hard. We just have lifetimes of bad habits. That's all. Like, eat a good meal, go to bed, think about emptiness, understand that the problems you see are coming from you. But what happens when you understand that it's coming from you and you can't change it after 10 years? I was whining yesterday to someone that my body was hurting and I couldn't serve people because my body was hurting. Like my mind wasn't clear. I was like, God, I just want to get rid of this body. Like it'd be so much better if I could just get the foundation of my body strong. Then I could face the other problems. But that's the nature of our life. Like that's the nature of it. And then you go, okay, well, this pain is coming from something else. And you know what? It changed. It did. An hour later, my mind changed, my perceptions changed, and my body didn't hurt as much. So do you have self-existent pain? Emptiness number flavor 1. This too will change. Emptiness flavor 2. You don't have control of it anyway. Whether you have the pain or not, in the moment, you don't have control of it anyhow. The problems that arise, you really don't have control of when they arise and when they don't. Oh, but Tim, you said I could plant seeds. I can do 4 steps. Yes. That's why you're in ACI and you're not sitting in DCI right now. Because you recognize that the pain, there's a cycle to it. And you really want to get out. That's the thing. You want to get out of it. But don't get lost in the suffering. Like that's what happens. And that's what happens to a bodhisattva burnout. A bodhisattva who's burning out is that the pain just starts getting too overwhelming and you stop forgetting where it's coming from. So then it doesn't become a joy to take care of others. And I know that that's not the easiest answer, right? Like, oh, it's coming from me. God damn, what did I do to create that? I don't know. And frankly, in my world, I don't care anymore. I don't care what I did. Like I spend very little time thinking about what caused that problem versus thinking about what's the antidote. Like, yes, you could do and sometimes that trip into the past is useful, or even imagining what it could have been. And I'm not saying it's a bad idea. Sometimes it is a good idea. But I spend so much less time thinking about the why. Like, why did this happen? Oh, like, yeah, I know. I was an idiot last week. Last week I yelled at someone. I know I had to see this, even when I did it, part of my mind was like, damn it, I'm going to have to see this result. So the question that Claudia asked, what is the seed to have better understanding? There's one word. There's many words, but there's one word I'm looking for $100, Claudia. $100. I haven't offered $100 in a long time. I'm feeling generous this morning. What is the seed to have better understanding? It's one verb. Louisa, that's not a verb. All right, Alona, you got it, except you're on payroll, so you don't get it. Alona got it. Teach. Okay. Right. Help others understand. And it's really fun. It can be really fun. I'll give you the $100 when you come to Diamond Mountain. Don't worry. Finding the most fun ways to teach are not getting on Zoom and having 77 people show up and then talking to little squares on the screen. That's one way of teaching, and that's kind of fun. But the most fun way is when you're hanging out with people to be able to say one little thing that people go, it shakes their prana a little bit. And they go, what? And then you just move on. You don't even you pretend you didn't even say it. Right? Like even at dinner last night, apparently I said something to them last week. I don't, took me a while to even remember it, but I remembered it. Like I said something. They were like, you said, and then they were so grateful because it opened up some insight for them. I did not talk about karma and emptiness directly. Right. But something I said opened up something for them. Right. And then, they're very interested. Like they're very interested in the practices. Right. And I've learned enough about this person that I'm like, first of all, when you see someone special, it doesn't matter what they appear as. Understand? Okay. Just because they appear as a student or appear as a friend or they appear as like someone who's not interested in karma and emptiness at all, doesn't mean they're not special. I'm giving you this secret. I'm giving you the secret. Write it down. Okay. It doesn't mean they're not special. Could they be an emanation of a Buddha who's appearing as someone who doesn't have any interest in karma and emptiness? Is it possible? It's possible, but are they? Are they really? And this is how you practice. I could be sitting there having these beautiful perceptions of this person and seeing them teach me. This person teaches me all the time. It is annoyingly fabulous, right? And who are they? Are they a teacher or are they not a teacher? Are they a Buddha or are they not a Buddha? Are they a Buddha appearing as someone who doesn't seem to be interested or doesn't seem to, I told you guys the story about the person who was like, I can't be a Buddhist because I can't think that way, and then 2 minutes later proves karma to me in a different way. And I was like, all right, fine, whatever. Right. And the thing is, the more you understand by teaching others, okay, this circle, right? Circles upwards. The more these kinds of things just start happening, right? The more that you start suspecting that those around you, who are they? Who could they be? They could be both. They could be neither. They could be one. They could be the other. Who is it? And then if you put your mind in a place that even just trying to say, maybe they're a little special. Maybe that waitress last night, who is that person? Right? Brand new to Sedona, gets a job at I would say the best restaurant in Sedona. Very high end, fine dining, right? Who is this random person from, where was she from? I don't remember where she's from. Can't remember where she grew up in the valley and near Phoenix. Right. It's like, who is she? And then what message does she have for me? Because if you understand where she's coming from, then you understand this perceptions you're having are coming from you anyway. And then you get to enjoy it. You're like, who are you? What are you doing? Oh, she sold us on this dessert last night. She was like, it's like they call it a churro, right? A Mexican churro, but it's not a Mexican churro. It was more like a donut. All right. And then inside the donut, they had, I guess, I don't know how they made them, but they had these warm apples, right? With cinnamon on them. And then they had this really beautiful French vanilla ice cream on the side, sprinkled with a little cinnamon, you know, cooked, they cooked it in some apple bourbon or something like that. It's like heavenly, right? No, I wasn't drinking. It was cooked off. It was for the flavor. Okay. But it was the most delicious thing ever. Right. And she sold it. And then she was like, it was so delicious that I'm not going to charge you for it. I'm like, oh, thanks. Right. And when you look at people around you, who are they? What are they doing? What is their message for you? Then don't worry about finishing your freaking 18 courses. Okay. Then you're doing Diamond Way. Then you're doing it. Okay. But if you don't understand emptiness enough, you can't do that practice. Because that practice serves for whomever you see. It serves for whether you're enjoying it or not. Whether you're enjoying the appearance or not enjoying it. But then you enjoy the enjoyable appearances much more. Yeah, if you feel like people are reading your mind, then that's a good seed. They are. They're reading your mind. So my advice to everyone is, if you want to move into those higher teachings and you want to get there and you have that motivation, that's the practice to do. All right. Am I going to force you to still get the homeworks done? Yes. If you don't have the homeworks done, will I say, come on in? No. Maybe. Depends. But don't be the student who's waiting on the depend. Like, oh, Tim will love me so much, he'll just let me come. We're such good friends. I'm such a good student. I go to all of his classes. That's not how it works. Or maybe you meet the person who you want to study with. You have to develop a relationship with them. You really do. They have to know you. What does it mean to know you? How about let's analyze that question. In parentheses, I know that I didn't finish homework 10 and I don't care. You can study it yourselves. It's in the reading. Okay, just letting you know, if anyone cares, it's in the reading. You can figure it out. They're just lists. They're boring lists that you can figure out yourself. They're actually not boring lists. That's why I'm forcing you to do it yourself. How do you get a close relationship with your teacher? What do you think the karma is for that? Serving them is one, sure. That's a $10 million question. That's not even $1 million question. I'd like Chinese recording Morney's response. I like that one. Bunch of letters and numbers. I think everything that's in the chat's pretty nice. I think there's something else too. I think, yes, harmony, that's a nice one. where does the teacher come from? If you have a teacher who's appearing, the qualities that they appear as are coming from you, whether they're close or they're far, whether they're nice or whether they're not nice, whether they're difficult or they're easy. Okay. And if any of those things are appearing to you, let's imagine you have a difficult relationship with your teacher. They're not appearing the way you want them to be. Did it ever occur to you that maybe you're just being difficult to other people? Maybe you're judging other people too harshly. Maybe you think you're right. Maybe there's a whole bunch of things that could be causing that, right? Maybe you're not teachable. Maybe you think you want a teacher, but that's not really what you want. You know, maybe, these are all the things that happen to people. Okay. So this happens to happen to me too. Not all of these things, but many of them. Maybe you need a stable parent figure in your life because maybe your parents didn't give you what you needed. And so you transfer that onto your teacher. Your teacher will not be your parents. Maybe it's better to transfer that onto them than onto your partner. How many people have dated someone who was just like their parent? Okay. Until you recognize that you're trying to date your parent. You're trying to get the love that you didn't get. Nice, right? Like the thing that you were trying to get from your partner actually was something you were trying to get from your parent that you never got. And then you didn't understand that. And then you transferred it onto your partner. Okay. Why is my hand up? Okay. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Okay. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's a realization one has. It's a realization that, oh, the thing I was looking for, I'm not going to ever find in that person. Right. But if you want your teacher to be a parent figure, that's also a seed too. Like they should take care of you. Right. But how they take care of you is going to be kind of up to your seeds. And the relationship with the teacher is something that it's like stepping. I did a fire ceremony the night outside here. And it was between too hot and too cold. Right. And I was trying to find the exact distance between me and the fire so that I wasn't too cold, but I wasn't too hot, but I wasn't, but if I got too close, it was too hot, but I could offer better. But then the smoke was in my face and it hurt. But if I was too far away, then I couldn't throw the offerings into the fire and I was cold. It's like that with a teacher. Like, how much heat can you handle? The closer you get, the hotter the fire. Roxana's just about ready to laugh. There she goes. The closer you get to your teacher, the hotter the fire. The more that you will be tested about your understanding, A, of where the teacher comes from, and all the things that are holding you back will start burning. and they will get hot. And you're going to be like, no, but I need that. That's me. That's me. That's me. Right? And you don't want to let go of those things. And the teacher is like, yes, you do. Right? And it's also the teacher's job not to like heat it up too much that you blow up. Right? And so how do you get close? And the real question is, do you want that? Do you really want to have your ego smashed? Do you really want to understand where you're coming from, the you is coming from, where the world is coming from? Do you really want that? Maybe. That's why we that's why with some students you take 25 years before you start killing them softly, as Alona just said. Right? I remember maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, my teacher started beating me up, like really beating me up. And I was whining to one of my friends about it. I was like, for 12 years, I was so nice and it was so wonderful. And right? And they were like, how long have you been here? 12 years. Yes. And they're like, oh, they know you're not going anywhere. So now they're going to beat you up because they know that you understand enough that you're not going to leave when the fire gets hot, when the smoke burns your eyes. So you have to look at your why. Why do you want this? Why do you really want it? And then how do you get close and how do you stay close? How do we get close on Zoom, everybody? It's an interesting question, right? Most of you have never seen. Per says, yes. Turn on the camera. Turn on the damn camera. Nice. Finally, the students are like judging each other, motivating each other, excuse me. Yes, camera on. That's one way of doing it. I'm going to give you a different way of doing it. Additionally to the camera. Nice. Jackie says, for those of you who don't speak English, she said, this is my karma because she made fun of her brother who had friends who were only online. Look, you have 78 friends online. Make friends with them. You want to get close to the teacher? Alona actually said it earlier, but I avoided the answer right now. Make friends with each other, help each other. How do you get close to a teacher? The students have to be close to each other. Why? Because you're helping each other. Don't get competitive with your fellow students. Oh, I'm jealous of Alona because she's an ACI staff member and I want her job. I'm jealous of Marina because she's the translation manager for live classes. I want her job, right? Don't be jealous. Celebrate them, help them. Francisco, get ready. You like this transition? That was a good transition. Oh, wait. You sent me a message, Francisco? What did you send me? Yeah, I saw it, the ACI priority support, right? Or did you send me another one? Hold on. What? Well, I can't make that choice. You guys have to make that choice. Thank you. You want to do that after class? Can you do it at the end of class,
Yes.
Francisco?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, but that's not what I'm asking about right now. I'm asking for how do you serve other students? This is where I'm getting at. Okay, this is my transition. Help each other. Like, oh, you're jealous of Alona? You know what the best thing a teacher ever does? Is they put people together who are jealous of each other and then watch the fire burn. It's the most enjoyable thing ever. Why? Because my teacher does it to me all the time. Drives me nuts. And I even know he's doing it. And then I still can't control the affliction. I'm like, you jerk. And he's like, hee. Like, and he runs away. I can hate it. No, but help each other. Like, oh, Claudia needs more help recording. Who needs help? We have so many people in ACI that are helping. Like, and then we have someone who's exercising in class. I love this. But she has her camera on. It's amazing. Great, thank you. We need help. ACI needs help. Why? Because we create opportunities for you to plant seeds. That's why we need help, not because I need extra people to do stuff. I have lots of things to do. There's lots of things that can be done. But our job is to provide opportunities for people to plant seeds. Don't forget that, ACI staff. Don't forget that, volunteers. Not only have you been given the opportunity to plant seeds, but how could you create the opportunity for other people? And just, excuse me, fucking enjoy it. Anastasia, bleep that out on Instagram. Put a little F with a bunch of, weird characters. All right. Just enjoy it. Oh, somebody doesn't do what you ask them to do? Who the fuck cares? They're planting seeds. If they don't do what you want them to do, why do you have to see that? That's your problem, not theirs. Got it? Okay. Help each other produce classes, help each other spread the Dharma, help each other make it possible for future generations. That's how you plant seeds for a teacher. Oh, wow. I love that I hired Gina Rivera. I think she did this. This is amazing. Put the diamond in your hand. Understand how to make karma work. How things work is by helping each other. Right? Help us make the teachings available to people. And that's how you make a teacher. I was told that Francisco made this video. Beautiful. Okay. Help other people bring the wisdom out. And this is all that ACI is. This is one big karma planting mafia. Okay. All right, fine. Oleg did it. Okay, look, everyone is sending me private messages blaming someone else for doing a good job. Thank you. All right. We're, this is what we're trying to do. What kind of work do we need? I have two particular jobs that I'm requesting. One, we need your stories. First of all, I need some native English speakers to write. Okay. If you are a writer and want to help us, because we have so many things we have to write for marketing, for social media, for our courses, Oh God, is Alona blaming other people now? Okay, so Alona is now blaming Ale, who is coordinating, and Francisco. Okay, fine, good. I like it. The ACI team has learned how to blame each other for good deeds. You know, we need someone who has a really, really good sense of English. Okay, you don't have to be a native speaker, but it helps. But we need people to be able to write. We're still an English-based organization. You can take the screen down now. We can put it back up at the end of class. We need people to report on what's happening in ACI. Let's stop this. There we go. We want to have more. We want to be able to tell the stories of each other. We want to be able to tell what your stories were or are that makes ACI amazing for you. We need to interview teachers. We need to interview practitioners. We have all these great things to do. We just don't have time to do them because people just don't have time, because we're busy all the time, because we're doing stuff. Okay. We have opportunities all the time. Alona's pulling out her hair. We almost have enough money to make Alona full-time, so she doesn't have to work 4 jobs. Okay. She works full-time and works other for ACI, but gets paid part-time. And then she does all this other stuff. She wants to work full-time. Help me help Alona work full-time. Okay. Help her, right? Do you want to work full-time for ACI? Help me raise money for ACI. Okay. Yes, this last 2 weeks, I've been going through like 7 or 8 years of finances for some reporting that I have to do for a big donor. And I went through things. And I looked at my reports from 2016 and 2017. And I was like, oh my God, ACI had nothing. We had nothing. Now we have a big machine, right? And that machine is designed for one thing only, to give people the opportunity to plant good seeds. If you work for ACI, you will never be rich. I'm sorry. Well, maybe if you change the seeds for it. But ACI is a nonprofit organization. Our goal is to do something that has nothing to do with money. But money is something we need to do it, which is annoying. Right? But if we really think about what we're doing, is all we're doing is providing people the opportunity to plant seeds. And it's not just about planting seeds solipsistically in the organization. It's about how do we serve the people in the world beyond us, this 77 people in this classroom. Like, how do we walk out the door and take care of other people? How do we do those things? How do we share wisdom without saying, come to my Buddhist class? Who cares if it's Buddhist or non-Buddhist? Like, it doesn't matter. Talking to my special friend last night, not a Buddhist, but certainly interested, right? And I don't want to make them a Buddhist. I want them to be them, right? I want them to be happy. I want them to be free of the pain that they in their world. I want them to be free of the suffering that I see in them. I don't want them to be Buddhist. I want them to be happy. Okay. And I want you to be happy too, and if we can help each other do that by serving each other, that's how you get the teachings. That's how you get the teacher to appear. And it doesn't matter, like, oh, your teachers across the world. Okay, well, how do you bring them there? How do they bring them closer? Why do we have Zoom? Hello. Don't think of Zoom as distance. Think of Zoom as closeness. But if you want the teacher to be near you physically, help other people, help the organization, help the people that are doing it. You know, the thing that I learned very, very early on, it was actually one of the first Lam Rim classes, which we're going to be teaching in an hour. Like I watched all these people getting close to their teacher. And like I've told this story a lot, and I'm going to keep telling it. I'll keep telling it until you get it. How about that? That's Geshe Michael's version. I will keep telling the story. Why do you keep telling the story? Because people don't understand it. They think that getting close to their teacher is by running up to them. They think getting close to their teacher is like being the first person there to serve them. They think getting close to the teacher is like taking the last donut from the donut shop. Like it's the only donut left. Oh my God, Claudia, ¿quién es ese? Wow, look at this. We got another Dharma kid. Everyone's having babies. What the hell's going on? Hi. Super cute. Oh, what's their name? I can't remember.
Santiago.
Can you say it again? Oh, you're recording. Then Diego. Something like that. I couldn't hear it very well. I'm sorry. Santiago. Ah, nice. Santiago. Beautiful, beautiful. More Dharma kids. Keep having kids, everyone. Or don't have kids. I don't care. Yeah, help each other. And I saw people pushing each other to get to the front of the line to meet their teacher. People running into the classroom to put their cushions down so they could be the closest. And I was sitting in the back of the room being like, you guys are stupid. You know, here's Tim judging other students. Don't judge other students. Okay. Don't judge other people's practice because you don't know why. But if you look at it in a higher way, here were all these little Vajrayaginis running around reminding me how to get close to my teacher. They were like, oh, there's someone special in the room. He's in the back. He's a brand new student. Let's teach him how to get a teacher. Let's teach him how to be close. And then they just do all this play, right? They're running around acting like a bunch of idiots, like pushing each other out of the way to get close to the teacher. And I was like, you know, which one were they? Were they idiots or were they enlightened beings? Which one plants better seeds? Okay. Think about it. You have to think about it. Which one plants better seeds? Right? Which one helps more? Oh, Tim, you're just delusional. Am I? Which one's more delusional? Just thinking they're a bunch of idiots or thinking they're a bunch of enlightened beings appearing as idiots? That's a good thing to take into your meditation. Which one is more delusional? Well, let me tell you what happened. Okay. You guys know what happened. Right? You know what happened. I'm now executive director of the organization. How the F did that happen? That happened in that moment. It happened in that moment when I saw these idiots fighting each other to get close to the teacher. The fight you should be having is getting other people close to the teacher. No. You go first. No. That's okay. You go talk to him first. I know I've had this question for 6 years, but you go talk to him first. You go ahead. Which one is more delusional? You know, and they have to think about it. So if we want to get close, maybe help other people who are already close. And that's what I did. Concentric circles. I just stood on the outside and served someone who was close, who was serving. And you know what I did? I corrected other people's homeworks. For years, I corrected homeworks so students could get their grades. Okay. So, if you want to be close, you have to do the things to make it close karmically. And then you'll fail, and then you'll just run up to the teacher. What happens to me is when I'm able to, like, when the karma ripens, it's like the parting of the Red Sea. All the people just go, and then it's like, bam, then I have a connection with my teacher. It's like, boom, right? Then I'm just like, oh, just going to walk through and go ask my question, right? We have 15 minutes left, and I'd like to open it up to questions. What kind of questions do you have about your practice, or anything you've heard today, or anything you've heard over the last 10 years of your practice, or things you learned in other classes that you would like clarity on? Let's go. Don't be shy. Don't wait for other people to ask questions because you're being nice and you're hoping to get close to your teacher by letting other people ask questions. Don't be polite. Be polite. Alona, you have a question? She raised her hand.
Yes, I'm here. I was thinking about pride. In our homeworks, it was the question, yes, what is the opposite to rejoicing? And it was about pride. And there was a point that there is like a healthy way of it. And basically, it's the same question about self-esteem. And it will be very interesting to hear it from you, like, where is the healthy point of loving myself, loving others, and like pride or not pride, or praising myself or praising others.
Cool. All right. So, a couple of things. One of the main opposites of rejoicing is actually jealousy, which is kind of a form. Like, you can make an argument that it's a form of pride too. When we look at jealousy, we look at what we're basically saying is somebody has something that I don't have. So it's basically the opposite of rejoicing. It's saying, I don't have what somebody else has and I want it. And so to connect that, connecting with your question, Alona, about self-esteem, like there's a lack, there's a lack that you're experiencing. Well, somebody is experiencing that somehow says that I'm not good enough and they are good enough to have that and I don't. So therefore there's something wrong with me. This is at least my meditations on how my jealousy works for myself. Okay. For many, many years, I suffered with this comparison with other people. Oh, that person has that. I don't have it. I still suffer from it. Like I remember the last trip to Kyoto, I'm having dinner with Seiji Rao, who is the director, who's like the executive vice president of DCI and SCIM. I'm there with Stanley Chen and Zhou Xiaoping, who are running the Classic Soft Power program, which is an executive training program, right? And their companies charge crap tons of money to the students. Like Diamond Silk Entrepreneur University, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So much money. They have so much money available, right? And I'm sitting here like in this conversation, I'm like, I can't pay my employees their low poverty level salaries. Like I'm trying to pay them these salaries and like they're over here like buying pearl necklaces, right? Vajragini practice. Think about it. But I am feeling I'm jealous and how do I say this? And it was a reflection on me that I'm not good enough. Like what am I doing wrong? That they're doing right and I'm not doing right. Okay. Put this all in parentheses, right? This is what And then Geshe Michael looks at me and he starts laughing. Like in the middle of this affliction, right? I'm trying to pretend I don't have it, right? And he starts laughing at me. And he goes, Tim, you have the greatest fortune of running the organization that will never make any money. And he said it so lovingly and so like right into my heart. Right. And it felt terrible, of course. But at the same time, it revealed to me that I was jealous and that I was feeling less than, that my self-esteem was low, that I didn't see myself as doing good things because I was comparing myself with other people. Right. But then we have this other affliction that comes up where people are like, well, I can't shine and as my awesome self because it'll hurt other people. I need to lower myself down. I have to be normal like everybody else. I can't stand up above and shine the person that I am because that's too prideful and people will make fun of me or people won't like me or people will judge me. Because why? Because you yourself have judged other people whose light was shining. I was judging or comparing myself to other people, right? I was jealous of Stanley, Xiaoping, and Seiji, right? And I'm sitting here like, of course, I'm completing that circle. I'm just like, oh, I can't shine. So I'm going to look at other people who are shining and I'm going to be like a little annoyed about it and jealous and all of those things. And so then the cycle runs around. But I think this is a really good question, because what is a good amount of pride? You need to finish your 18 courses for me to go really deep into this, but I'm going to try. When you're doing this practice I was talking about earlier, where you're looking around and you're like, hey, who are you? Are you the waitress or are you Vajragini? Looking at my friend. Are you my friend or are you Vajragini? Are you enlightened being, right? Which one are you? You're doing this practice. And you're starting to be like, I wonder if there's special messages here. I wonder if there's someone special who, if they're talking to me specifically. Because if I'm seeing things in them, it's coming from me. But maybe they could be enlightened beings who are there, who are also coming from me, showing me the stuff that I'm still working on. Okay. Now, flip it. Who are you? Who could you be? Oh, I'm just Tim. I'm just Alona. I'm just Natalia. Oh, is that who you think you are? Oh, okay. Then you're stuck in emptiness level. Which one? 2? I don't know. You yourself have that emptiness. You have that possibility. Of course you have this possibility. You wouldn't be here if you didn't sense it. But you're in that situation as well. And what if you could start seeing yourself that way? Just blow through all the BS of yourself, the you that you think you are. And you can sit there and be like, I'm now enlightened Tim, which I will not be called Tim when I get enlightened. I'm now enlightened Alona. I'm enlightened, can you see yourself that way and start acting that way? How would enlightened Tim be acting right now with all these appearances around me? Maybe I'll whisper something secretly to someone else and be like, I hope they understand this little thing about karma and emptiness right now. Maybe I'll give on a $200 check, I'll give $100 tip to the waitress, because I'm like, this is exactly what enlightened Tim would do. And I'm going to be treating this other person this way as well. And that's a good pride. Because it's based in karma and emptiness. Because you know that the seeds that you're planting, even if you don't see yourself that way and you're pretending it, the seeds that you're planting are incredibly more powerful because you understand the why. And when you understand the why, then you can just enjoy your dinner at the fanciest restaurant in Sedona and be like, well, I don't have any money. Here you go, extra $100. Bam. Right? I didn't even think I didn't have the money. I was like, of course I have it. It's for you. Right? And then you're looking at them and you're like, this is beautiful. The seeds that are being planted right now are incredibly powerful. So that's a good kind of pride. To be like, having pride in your practice. Then you're constantly moving in and out of the view. Like it's like swimming, right? And that's the practice. Good question. Next question. I'm going to take Persis' question from the chat. Persis asks, Geshe Michael said, if we want to see emptiness directly, we need to go into deep meditation. So there's something that Persis thinks that emptiness is coming from its own side. Because we always say those things. Oh, every object has emptiness, including yourself. And that's why you can become enlightened, by the way. But it seems like there's something about emptiness that is self-existent. It's not. That's all I'm going to say. It's not. Right? But that's part of the practice. Part of the practice is unraveling all the things that we thought were there from their own side. Now, emptiness is not something that's there. That's the thing. Emptiness is the lack of something coming from its own side. And it's hard to use language to describe it because it's an absence. It's an absence of something. The perception of that absence is not coming from its own side either. So their emptiness has emptiness too. Take that into meditation. Cook it. Cook that one. It's probably not the most exciting answer, but it's like understanding where the perception of emptiness comes from, like that where emptiness comes from in the first place will help you get there. So I want to thank everybody. Oh, I'm going to stretch for a second. I'm going to thank everybody. We are 10 courses in of 36. So we're 1/3 of the way through, not quite 1/3 of the way through. Okay. So to stay here for this long is a tremendous karma. It's a tremendous, tremendous karma, and please rejoice in it. Please rejoice. Thank you for, I'm going to make everyone jealous of Alona. Thank you, Alona, for doing all the hard work to advertise these programs. Okay. We have a big team of people. Anastasia, we have a bunch of marketing people that bring the message out. Christina Kasica does a lot of the writing. We have so many people who are making this possible, and without that, we wouldn't be here today. So I want to thank all the translators. You're making this available for so many people, for the future generations. You're serving those people. You are serving people that you will never see. That's pretty damn cool. So we're going to be starting, I don't know the exact dates yet. We'll be doing course 11. I'm trying to decide when I'm doing my retreat this year. So I'm working on that. As soon as I figure that out, then we'll have dates for ACI 11. We're going to also continue with the Lam Rim as well during that course. So if you're interested in both, they will be offered at the same time. Thank you, translators. Thank you, translation managers, Marina, and everybody else. That's all that I think I have. I think we're going to take about a half-hour break, and we will come back for Lam Rim. Thank you all. And if you're taking off, please say goodbye, and we'll see you in the next course. No one's saying goodbye. You're all staying. You don't want to say goodbye?
Thank you, Tim.
Спасибо, Tim. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you too.
Thank you.
Gracias,
Bye.
Tim.
Please stay.
Thank you.
Grazie mille, Tim. Grazie.
Gracias. Por favor, síganos.
Buona giornata. Buon
See you,
tutto.
Lena.
Rimani con noi all'infinito. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.